A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Mark. When Jesus had risen early on the first day of the week, he appeared first to Mary Magdalene, out of whom he had driven 7 demons. She went and told his companions, who were mourning and weeping. When they heard that he was alive and had been seen by her, they did not believe. After this, he appeared in another form to 2 of them walking along on their way to the country. They returned and told the others, but they did not believe them either. But later, as the 11 were at table, he appeared to them and rebuked them for their unbelief and hardness of heart, because they had not believed those who saw him after he had been raised. He said to them, "Go into the whole world and proclaim the gospel to every creature." The gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ. Everyone have a seat. When I saw that the air conditioning wasn't working, I was going to bring over I was going to go over to the hall and sit there with our camera and have myself broadcast in here. But I figured that probably would not be a good leading from the front attitude. So when you are little, when you're first born, who remembers when they were first born? I know somebody always does. I know it. I remembered when I was little that my mom and dad had a blue VW Bug, except that she was pregnant when they had the blue VW Bug. They don't believe that I knew it, but I was already watching. But anyway, when you first start to learn to talk, what's one of the first things you say? You start saying stuff like "mama" or "papa," right? Something like that. Some version of that. So, that's when you start to, mom and dad are already going, who's going to be first? Who's going to be first? Who's going to be first? And then after you learn mama and papa, and I think I can probably say with pretty good accuracy that the third word that you guys learned was what? No. And then that's probably one of the first words you ever heard, right? After all, I love you, you're so cute, you're so sweet. No, stop doing that. No. Well, we've been telling you no for 7 years, right? A lot of times when parents bring their children up, when the children come up, when moms, dads come up to receive Holy Communion, right? Then after probably about 6 months or a year, what do, brothers? What do the kids start to do? They start to grab. Right? When they see the parents receive communion, then you guys start to grab because you want it too. And I always tell you, you got to wait about 6 years, right? And then that doesn't seem fair, does it? Doesn't seem fair because everybody wants to do that. But sometimes you got to be ready. Even though there's things you want, you can't always do it. I'm going to tell you a story about that. So who's been to Disney World? Who's been to Dollywood? Who's been to Six Flags over Georgia? Who's been to, let's see my Ohio people. Who's been to Cedar, whatever it's called? Cedar Point. Yep, that's where you're from. Yep. So you've been there, right? All right. So we've all been to some sort of amusement park. So imagine when you were little, and parents, you can do this too. You read about this new ride at Dollywood, and this ride, all your friends are talking about it. And the ride is called the Vomit Mobile. And it's supposed to be the most terrifying, fear-inducing roller coaster on the face of the earth. And you can't wait to ride it. So mom and dad promise you, it's like, listen, if you're good, if you behave at your first Holy Communion, and you don't yell or scream at anybody, or you don't get your dress or your ice cream suit dirty, we're going to take you to Dollywood, and you can ride the Vomit Mobile. And you say, okay, I'm on it. And then so you start looking on your mom and dad's phone like, let me read about the Vomit Mobile. This thing is awesome. I can't wait to go do it. So you start asking, when do we get to go ride the Vomit Mobile? When do we get to ride the Vomit Mobile? And mom and dad are like, it's coming, in a year. And then you say, how long's a year? And your parents just shake their heads because they know they have caused this problem and brought it on themselves. So then you start to get closer. And it starts to get closer. And then it's the night before you go, right? So you're packing up the car, you can hardly sleep, or you're leaving the hotel, and all you want to do, you don't even want to go to sleep because you're so excited about riding the Vomit Mobile. Well, you get into the parking lot, you get out of the car, And all these experiences, all these things start to happen. You smell, right? You smell the hot asphalt, right? You smell the hot, the macadam, whatever, the asphalt. And then you smell all the diesel fuel from the church buses because they're all there. And then you get your stuff and you start to head in. You start to get a little closer. And then you start to hear people laughing. You hear people screaming, probably because they're flying off the vomit mobile. And then you get up and you get your ticket, and then you start to smell things, right? You smell popcorn, you smell cotton candy, and then you get in there and you smell the chlorine from the water. And you get through that gate, and you know exactly where to go because you've been researching it for a year. So what do? You grab mom and dad by the hand, and you head straight all the way to the back where the new vomit mobile is. And then there's only one thing standing between you and those long lines that you have to wait for. You have one thing that you've got to get through before you can get in line. And what is it? You must be this tall to ride. And guess how tall you are? I know, it's not fair, right? It's not fair I've waited all this time and now you're telling me I can't do this. Well, why does that happen? Because you're not ready, right? It's not safe. You might fly out, right? We know it happens. It happens every once in a while. But so your parents are telling you that you can't do something, and the people who own the amusement park are telling you you can't do something even though you want it so bad. But now, today, we are now saying after 7 years, because you wouldn't know necessarily how to react or how to keep yourself safe. So you had to be old enough to be able to be explained to and be able to fit in the thing. Well, now what we've done over the past year is that with your teachers and with your parents, and they've been preparing you, hopefully, since you were baptized. That's what they're supposed to do, right? We ask them when we baptize you, are you ready to bring up this child in the teachings of the church? I never had anybody say no yet. You guys? Everybody agrees to it. All right? And this is why I'm talking to the grown-ups now, the tall people. Have you? Have you done what you said that you would do? Have you done what you said that you would do at your wedding? Right? I will accept children willingly and lovingly raise them in the teachings of the church. And then at their baptism, we ask you 2 or 3 times, are you prepared to raise this child? We even give you help, right? What do? We give you godparents to help you do that. We don't give you godparents just so you can say, hey, you get to be the godparent for this one, you get to be the godparent for that one. We give you godparents so that they can help you raise the child in the faith. Because God knows it's hard. And that's why He gives us this help. And then so today when you come here, you should have been prepared. And because it's not my job, it's not my esteemed colleague's job here, it's not Miss Carey's job to form them. It's your job. That's what you signed up for. And guess what? It's just getting started. Right? It's all good now. It's great when they're baptized. It's great when it's First Holy Communion. It's fantastic. But now you got to carry through. You got to continue to raise them in the faith. And guess what? I don't want to see you. I don't want to see you disappear. Right? I want to see you come into confession, setting that good example. We always get a huge uptick in confessions right before First Holy Communion because mom and dad go, well, if I'm going to make them, I guess I got to go. And that's good. That's good. But this is not the end of the road, right? This is where you get to be able to come together as that family, come together as part of the body of Christ, to share in the mysteries of what the church teaches, what the church has given you, and what has given us. So I just want to say to all the parents, to all the godparents, to all the grandparents and whatever, thank you for being here. Thank you for supporting your children. Thank you, I'm thanking you ahead of time to continue to do that. Because remember, this generation, they're going to be the ones who's taking care of us when we're old, right? And we want people who are raised in the faith and know how to take good care of us. And you guys, to the little ones, so happy to say yes. And I'm so happy that you are able to be here today and we're able to celebrate this wonderful sacrament. And I look forward to being able to communicate that with you and for once not having to say, wait 6 more years.